I'm the Blood Death Knight in this video. This was done on a Tyrannical week with Necrotic and Inspiring. The main aim of this route is you want to time Prideful on all of the Shards of Halkias, Prideful on the first two bosses and the last boss. After that you just need to worry about Heroism for the second and the last boss, and you can do a big pull on the second shard as well going forward. This dungeon's not too bad with Necrotic, as a lot of the trash packs here are caster, so they don't actually apply many stacks. The only real thing you need to worry out is the dogs that tend to do quite a lot of damage to you, and stacked with the Necrotic, you need to get yourself out of there. Inspiring, not really an issue this week. It's on most of the Houndmasters, so just CC the Houndmaster and kite as usual, and they'll outrange, the bears will outrange the Houndmasters, and they'll be affected by CC anyway, because the Houndmasters are ranged. Again, as it's not fortified, the Thrashers don't really do too much damage, but try and pick up a Prideful. We're coming up to the big hero pull here. This is the one you really just using as a time save. Again, there's 3-4 casters in this pack, so you're not going to get too many Necrotic stacks. In the video, as it was a bug, our mage didn't actually cast hero, which was rather unfortunate, but it is what it is. You clear it anyway. Hero is just a time save, and it'll line up nicely for the second boss. Second boss being the hardest point of this run entirely. After you kill through this pack, you'll just lift up one of the Houndmasters, the Inspiring one. You can range pull it, or whatever you want if it lines up nicely. If you're Death Knight, you can just grip it. It's a very, very easy pull. And then once they come up and you kill them, you'll get Prideful and you run to the final shard, which is quite nice. There we go. Prideful, again, doesn't apply Necrotic. It's generally pretty easy. You just want to make sure you don't burn cooldowns during Prideful, because you want to use them during the damage buff portion. So look out for the beams, and then he'll die. Just take the jump down here. Doesn't matter whether or not you pull that little roaming back, that little roaming mob. Just grab him in here. You got Prideful, you can tank pretty much anything. On a fortified week, this will be quite a dangerous pull, but as you'll have Prideful, I recommend doing it anyway. These Shards of Halkias on fortified are the hardest part of the dungeon, so save some defensives for when you're pulling them. After you've killed that, you just need one more Houndmaster pack in the pack in the center. I highly recommend bringing Venthirs for this dungeon. With a Venthir, you don't actually need Heroism for the first boss on Tyrannical, because either you or the DPS can take one of the loyal stone boys, which will give you a massive damage reduction, as well as do quite a lot of damage for you. So it adds up quite nicely. So here there's no Inspiring, you just deal with the pack as normal, and you save that gargoyle for the boss. On the boss, don't stack up as melee. No one should be standing near the tank, otherwise they're going to get clapped, nearly one-banged. You'll probably see the mage get hit by it. Here we are with the Prideful timing. And then, as range, you don't want to stand in your walkways, because the boss will randomly target where he's going to throw the stones and the blockages, and he'll be on one of the casters. So if you guys are all standing in your one place that is your safety from the beams when you're walking, then you're going to end up blocking it off. So try not to stand in those areas, otherwise the tank will have to move and it'll absolutely suck. I think here you're seeing the mage is playing melee, and he's going to get slapped. There you go, and he just nearly gets one shot. Which, yeah, on a 14 you're going to just die to most mechanics. It's very fortunate he didn't. And you see the gargoyle just absolutely wrecking the damage for the warrior. So that's why you don't really need Heroism, is you have a gargoyle. You can even play it so you can get 2 or 3 gargoyles if the timing lines up on the patrol on the right hand side. But I recommend keeping the left hand one for the pack after the boss. Here we see the priest, unfortunately forgets what a beam is, and he goes down. I will put the link to the route at the end of the video, which will be pretty nice. You guys will be able to see it is using Mythic Dungeon tools. I am aware of the drama behind it. Here is a nice big pull you can do with one of the stone gargoyles. Pick them up, pick up all 6, throw a mass grip in there. That's pretty nice. Again, 4 of these are casters, so you're not actually going to take that many necrotic stacks, and none of them are inspiring, so you can CC all of them as you see fit. And then you go on to the next pack, and it's pretty much the same thing. You take a gargoyle, you get the damage reduction, or the damage increase if you're a DPS, and then you just pull the next 2 packs, and you just nuke them down, and it's completely fine. You can see the Blood Death Knight just very high up on damage for what is normally acceptable. There is an inspiring mob in those little gargoyles, but it doesn't do too much. And then you just skip as normal, either with invisibility or waiting for the patrol to be on the side. And after that, you'll get a Prideful and you'll go straight into second boss, which times up very, very nicely with the Heroism from the second shard, especially if you guys are on pace. If you guys are slow, you guys will have even better Heroism timings. We actually end up being too fast for the final boss. But here we end up burning Heroism and just absolutely chugging it. Save major defensives for when he jumps into the air, and if you have immunities to magic damage like anti-magic shell or Cloak of Shadows, you can prevent the application of the curse, and if you have a decurse, it's worth casting so the person with a dash can get out. You'll see it on the mage, I believe, and they just jump. Get hit. It happens later on, but you can get out if you remove the curse in time if you have a dash. Then this is probably the only dodgy pack with Inspiring because it's on one of the dogs. So you could CC the Houndmasters and pull the dogs out and do them separately. I'm gonna face tank most of them as I'm a Blood Death Knight, and then I've got Venthir Teleport to get out of there should things get a bit hasty. You can't actually interrupt Loyal Beasts, which is the only downside to this pack without CC. But again, they're ranged, you can kite them away, and then they'll just fall, and you'll CC as normal. You go through, next pack, not really a problem, just put it into the next room. And you'll be completely fine with this. Yeah, throw a few interrupts here and there. The third boss, you do not need any Heroism for the third boss. You just grab both Loyal Stone Boys. Just grab both of them, run into the boss room, have your Venthir take one of them. If you have 2 Venthirs, you take both. But and then you just pull the boss and you tank one of them with you if you only have one. And you'll just notice the damage just goes through the roof for everyone who has a loyal Stone Boy. Apologies. And mechanics, you just guide the ghost over a lantern. More lanterns will spawn if you run out on Tyrannical, but most of the time this is not a hard boss to kill by any means. It is just a punching bag really. You'll get through it, you dodge the spells, you throw some interrupts. It's really not that hard a boss fight overall. Then the percentage, if you follow this path, you'll get Prideful after the next pack as well, after that final map. And you'll probably notice me trying to place markers on everyone's heads in anticipation of the final boss, so it makes it very, very easy for Door of Shadows to be spotted. But here in this room, just throw as many dots as you can. We cleave the mobs in the pews first, otherwise the central guy will heal. And after you get him down, the Prideful will spawn. When it gets quite low, just bring it to the door and just go straight into the boss fight. Again, Heroism will line up nicely if you're slow. If you're fast, you'll probably have like, a minute to 50 seconds of waiting time for Heroism. So you can pull it anyway, and it'll line up with the Door of Shadows mechanic from the boss. Dodge the statues. Where they're facing is where they'll be thrown when they're picked up. It's quite rough. And then this is the key part that the icons actually really help with. 3 DPS and the tank need to soak. If the healer is soaking, then one of the DPS, whoever isn't soaking, needs to alleviate them because they need to absolutely heal. Use group-wide defensives on the first one and let the healer manage it, and on the second one use personal defensives, any immunities, anti-magic shell, ice block, all of those kinds of things, and you should get it down. Overall, it's quite an easy dungeon this week. Tyrannical, it's only really the second boss that makes it kind of hard, but other than that, there isn't really too much to worry about. Inspiring and Necrotic aren't really things on this dungeon at all. But thank you very much for watching. Happy New Year, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.